Good morning. Going to do a little chess video here as soon as the first one comes up. And this here, white is to move, and it's checkmate in 2. Basically what happens is white takes the queen and goes down to bishop 7, and that is check. Then the black king has to move over to rook 1. Then the queen can move into knight 7, and that's checkmate. So that's a checkmate in 2. Going on to the next puzzle here. This is black is to move this, and with this, black skewers the king and the rook, winning the rook. Basically what happens is the bishop captures the pawn, and that is check from the bishop, plus it's also check from the rook. It's a discovered check from the rook. So the king has to move over to, that would be king, or that would be queen 1. And then what happens is the bishop can then capture the rook, winning the rook. So that is skewering the king and the rook, capturing the rook. Moving on to the next one. This is white is to move, and it is checkmate in 2 moves. Basically, the way this happens is queen moves to bishop 7, that's check. Then the king, the black king, has to move over to rook 1, and then the rook can move down to, that would be king 8, and that is checkmate. Moving on to the next puzzle, that would be this one. And this is also white is to move, and it's mate in 2. Basically, this can be done either several different ways. Either this rook can move here, and that's check, and then the next rook can move here, and that's checkmate. Or this rook can move here, that's check, and then the next rook can move there, it's checkmate. So basically what you're doing, you're forcing the black king down 1 row, and then when you bring the other rook down, the black king has nowhere to move and won't be in check. So that's checkmate in 2 moves. Moving on to the next one, be this one. And this is a white to move, forking the king and the queen. And basically what this is a knight fork. And as I've told you previously, I love knight forks. Basically, knight captures the pawn here, and that puts the king in check, and the king will have to move out of check because nothing can capture the knight, and then the knight can capture the queen. So that's forking the king and the queen. Moving on to the next one. Be this one, and this is white to move, forking the king and the rook. Basically what happens here is the knight moves to bishop 7, that's check, and the king will have to move because there's nothing there that can capture the knight, and then the knight can capture the rook. winning a very valuable piece and putting white in a position where he should be able to go on and win the game, providing you don't make any serious blunders. And the last one for this video is this one. White is to move, and he's setting up a potential knight fork. Basically what happens is knight moves over to knight 5, and that really doesn't do anything. And if black does not make the right move here, then on the very next move, white can fork the king and the queen and the rook. So in order to protect, white has to move back, move the king back, move the queen back out of harm's way. Either move the queen back to this square here, or move the queen back to this square. White cannot capture the knight if it moves over there. Well, black could capture the knight if it moves over there, but then it's protected by the bishop here. So this is the move setting up a potential knight fork. So that's the end of these chess puzzles. If you like the video, please subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. And I'll be putting some more videos on here in the future. Thanks a lot, and you folks have a nice day.